as your first marathon, maybe the goal is just to go out and complete it and do as well as you can. And I was researching this topic because I think it's a question a lot of new runners, people going after their first half marathon or their first marathon, they have that question like, how fast should I be running? What should my goal be? Just finish. And as I was researching like how to convey this message across from people, because what I don't want people to take away from this is just go out and give it a half-assed effort and get across the finish line, and that's check the box. But I've came across this article online that was titled Embrace the Zero, and it's in reference to Robert Kaplan's book called The Nothing That Is, A Natural History of Zero. And it's all about how we should embrace the zero because zero acts as a reference point. And when you don't have baseline data, embracing the zero enables you to assess new data and set targets that reinforce performance expectations. So maybe for your first marathon, you start by setting an achievable initial target that's high enough to facilitate growth, and then use that first marathon, everything you learned. You're going to gather so much data, subjectively but objectively. If you wear a Garmin watch or any sort of GPS watch, you're going to gather so much data over those 16 weeks. And then when you you cross the finish line of that first race, you have this huge set of data that you now can apply to build off of. So embrace the zero because that is a beautiful place to be coming from. Zero is not bad. It is not negative. It's also not positive. Your baseline. Use your baseline to build off of. I think it's a really powerful place. It's a really exciting place to be operating from.
It's a place of opportunity.
Well said.
Right?
Well said.
We've all heard of blank canvases, and embracing the zero is the same thing as embracing a blank canvas. It's not bad. It just hasn't been painted yet, right? And so you start week 1, then you get to week 2, you get to week 8, you finally get to week 16. You went from having a blank canvas to a picture that has almost been painted, right? You go from zero data and you're embracing the fact that you're starting from somewhere where you don't even need to have any preconceived notions of exactly what your time is going to be. But as you gather data, and as you go and you run runs, and as you progress fitness-wise, you'll get to the starting line, and you're not going to have no idea what pace to run. Let me be clear. But when you get to the starting line, you're going to have a range. You're going to have a clue when you didn't have the slightest iota, possibly, in week 0, right? And then when you get to week 16, you're going to have an idea. Hey, I've been running my easy runs at X pace. I was able to do some repeat work at X pace. I was able to do some lactate threshold training at X pace. So I think that, collaboratively through people around me who have been helping me, or a coach, or just a confidant or a friend who's run marathons, I have my range. And then you just go and you stay within that, stay comfortable, and just get your first marathon in. And then that's just going to be a springboard for everything. But yeah, when you start in week 1, somebody says, what do you think my goal should be? I think maybe I frustrate people sometimes because I say, how should I know? I don't know, because we just need to embrace the zero. Let's not start talking about, oh my God, the time has to be this. Let's just embrace the zero and just enjoy the compilation of data from which we then are going to be able to have a clue once we get there.
Yeah, when I think back to my first 2 marathons, I had this range of a pace that I was hoping for, but I was running more off of effort and subjective feel on those first 2 marathons. I didn't know really where I was going to finish, what time. The range of finish time was 30 minutes probably, and my range of pace was probably honestly 2 minutes, that large of a range. And then with each additional marathon after that, the pace got faster, but also the range got slower. For now, when I go, if we think back to CIM in 2023, 23, I guess that was.
23.
I knew exactly what pace I was going for.
Yeah.
And the range that I was running with it was within a matter of seconds. But I knew the top end of what I did not want to run slower than. But you just become so dialed with more experience. But in the beginning, I love what you said is like, start that prep week 1 with no expectations. Just start running. But by the tail end of that prep, those 16 weeks, you're going to have a pretty rough range of what you can run 26.2 in. There might be some variation. I mean, you might have a mile here that's 3 minutes slower than another. Or, you're just trying to figure it out, but you'll figure out that range with some more time.
Right. And with experience comes precision, right? And the more data you get, the more exacting you can be sort of in your process. The first time you ever go and throw darts, the goal is just to hit the board. Just don't hit the wall, right? Well, once you progress to being able to hit the board every single time, then it's like, okay, well, how close can I get to actually hitting bullseyes? But when you first start throwing darts, it's like you're not worried about hitting a bullseye. You just don't want to be the embarrassing guy that like puts holes in the drywall. You just want to hit the board, right? And so what happens is the more experience you get and the better at it you get it, then you can start hitting bullseyes the way you did at CIM. In your first couple of marathons, you were just trying to make sure you didn't hit the wall, right? Like literally and figuratively, like you didn't want to, and I think you actually did hit the wall.
Oh, I did. I did.
And a couple of those look like, I've seen some videos of those first ones that look like a death march there the last several miles.
You know what's funny is we were just watching old marathon footage of my first couple of marathons.
Right.
Because we've documented and filmed every race. Yeah. And we're watching one of those, I think it might have been like my first marathon ever, where we had someone filming it. And I stopped mid-race to give an update of how I was feeling. I stopped.
You stopped?
On the side of the course. I mean, I remember that first marathon. It was probably mile 17 and just full body seizure cramps. And there was this cop. I cramped right in front of this cop and I couldn't move. I couldn't move at all. And he walked up. He like put his arm around my shoulder. She's like, "Hey, bud, you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just cramping real bad." He's like, "You're a big boy to be out here." I was 230 pounds.
It's hilarious.
But I stopped mid-race to talk to the camera to give an update. Now, I mean, when I go to a marathon, seconds matter. Seconds matter. I don't even want to stop to go to the bathroom. But that's just progression.
Yeah.
It's just progression over time.